WWE Stars Frustrated, an AEW star called out for being toxic. The Rock is apparently in a new movie, he looks unrecognisable, and more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
If you thought Blackface Miz was the most newsworthy wrestling makeup decision this week, no, I will not explain that joke for everyone who missed Monday's news video. You must watch every news video. Rock the Final Dwayne Johnson has finally released the first trailer for his new movie, The Smashing Machine, where he has a new head. And it might provide a bigger clue as to why he never showed up at WrestleMania 41. While The Smashing Machine sounds like it could be a Temu version of the Hulk, it is very much not. It's based on the life of one of the first stars of the UFC, Mark Kerr, specifically the 2002 HBO documentary following his life. And this isn't a big Warner Bros. Or Disney-funded project. This is Rock the Final Dwayne Johnson, starring in an art house film. No matter what The Rock tells you on social media, Johnson's position as Hollywood's biggest action movie draw has significantly diminished over the last several years. Black Adam lost Warner Bros. An estimated $100 million. His Red One Christmas movie last year reportedly lost even more than that. That's one speculated reason why he returned to WWE at the start of 2024, to regain momentum on his home turf, which resulted in the excellent build to WrestleMania 40. But although his Moana 2 did incredibly well in November, Johnson is only getting older. He'll turn 53 this weekend, so it seems like he's considering a shift in his star persona. The Rock is going to become a serious actor. The Smashing Machine is written and directed by Benny Safdie, who was one of the brothers who made Good Time with Robert Pattinson, Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, and The Curse with Nathan Fielder. Safdie has a very successful track record of taking actors or comedians that might have found themselves pigeonholed, like Pattinson as a teen Twilight heartthrob, Fielder as a deadpan prankster, or Sandler only making movies so he can hang out with his friends in Hawaii for 3 months, and showing you they're actually the best actors you've ever seen. Yes, I know Paul Thomas Anderson already did that with Sandler in Punch Drunk Love 20 years earlier. Don't try and outfilm me! But this also seems to be the plan for Dwayne, who is unrecognisable in the trailer, not just with the facial prosthetics, but also with his voice. With the October release date, this feels like he's trying to get nominated for an Academy Award. While the mainstream perception of wrestling has come a long way over the last 15 years, with Dave Bautista breaking the muscle guy mold of wrestlers in Hollywood, showing they can be fantastic character actors too, it is still looked down upon. Back in 2008, Mickey Rourke was advised not to do a WrestleMania match against Chris Jericho because it could harm his chances of winning a Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Wrestler. With The Smashing Machine, produced by A24, and his upcoming role in a Martin Scorsese gangster movie, Rock is transitioning into a more serious actor, which will likely come at the expense of his work on screen for WWE. It's a shift that's already been happening, because if The Rock is to be believed, he only ever thought he was appearing at Elimination Chamber to help out that show's ticket sales. He didn't know he'd be seen as such a missing part of the John Cena heel run in the build to WrestleMania. What do you think of the Smashing Machine trailer? Let me know in the comments down below, where I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere saying, "God damn, that's a good hair transplant. Strong hairline at the front, thick on top." You know, not that I'd know anything about hair transplants. Speaking of the UFC, mixed martial arts segue. Did you know that we've got a video game channel called Control Freaks? Well, you can watch Sullivan and Dom trying to play UFC 5 there, but by sharing the same controller. Here's a clip.
Oh. Hell no, we can't lose the corn strap again.
Die!
No, we can't.
Die!
We can't lose the corn strap again.
Move me in.
I
don't care about the stamina now. Just keep going.
No!
Just keep going.
No!
Get back up!
I'm trying.
Get up!
I'm trying, but he's punching us too much. We've lost the corn strap again.
He's got no teeth. And also, if you're fighting that you'd grab him by those stupid moustache braids and just twist around his neck and pull his head off with his stupid bald on the top ponytail. It is the most disgusting hairstyle you can choose. And if you have it, cut it off now, because you're just as bad as Crunchwap Supreme, who I detest with every fibre of my body. You, shut up. So arrogant. Oh, look at me, I did it. No, you didn't.
Yes, he did, though.
You're
He
nothing,
did.
you're nothing.
He's got his team.
His team who can't stand touching him. They're like, oh, yeah, well done. You did it for Gondor or wherever.
It wasn't just The Rock becoming a serious actor that disrupted WWE's plans. It looks like they kept changing their WrestleMania card all by themselves. In the trailer for WWE's upcoming reality show Unreal, that peels back the curtain and follows the backstage creative process. By the way, if you ask me, the clue that it's going to be heavily worked is in the name. It's Unreal, as in not real. Triple H hides stuff like that in plain sight all the time. Remember, back in the day he called his big NXT shows takeovers, which was supposed to be grooming him to take over from Vince McMahon. Sidebar, back to the trailer. In it, there was a shot of a whiteboard from late December, early January that listed matches that we did get, like Cody Rhodes versus John Cena and AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, but then a load more that were ultimately scrapped, like CM Punk or Seth Rollins versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title, Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship, the Wyatt Six versus Judgment Day, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch versus Io Sky and Asuka, Bad Bunny versus Dominic Mysterio, and Bron Breakker versus Drew McIntyre. What's craziest to me in all that is that there's no Jey Uso anywhere on that card, and he ended up winning the Royal Rumble a month later. But it isn't just us viewers finding out how changeable even Paul Levesque's long-term booking is that could be a potential issue for WWE. It could also annoy the wrestlers. In a new report from Fightful Select, they've heard that the talent were just as unaware of those internal discussions as us, telling the site they felt blindsided and that they only found out they were once in consideration for WrestleMania matches when that trailer was released. They hadn't ever had talks about the plans with officials, and it made some feel frustrated when they ended up not being on the eventual card. An interesting specific point is the Io Sky and Asuka tag match. Asuka had been injured way back in May, where she had to be pulled from the Queen of the Ring tournament. She would undergo knee surgery the following month. Fightful writes that there was a lot of talk backstage about Asuka's name being included in the Unreal card, as her being penciled in was very ambitious given her recovery timeline. With Seth Rollins penciled in as either Roman Reigns or Gunther's opponent back in January, it's also quite difficult to figure out when exactly WWE decided to side in with Paul Heyman to form a new faction with Bron Breakker. There have been a lot of pitch names for the stable, from me still trying to make Sword happen, to new versions of previous wrestling factions like Heyman's Dangerous Alliance or Revolution, as a play on Triple H's Evolution, to the late 80s children's cartoon The Visionaries.
They are the Visionaries.
According to Fightful, though, WWE sees Seth's new gang as a brand new faction without compare, so it won't be leaning into the Dangerous Alliance or Evolution legacies, and that their aim is to have future stables compared to Seth's. Additionally, WWE do not have plans to add any other members, and it will just be Heyman, Rollins and Breakker for the time being. Whatever they're called, it's working great for the Netflix ratings, as the Raw After Mania episode's viewership is in, and it has delivered the third best number of the year so far, pulling in 3.6 million views worldwide. It was an episode that also saw the WWE return of Rusev, who revealed on this week's show that he'll be continuing his Redeemer gimmick from AEW, where he perfects the unworthy through pain. According to PW Insider, Rusev has had a warm reception behind the scenes, and that a lot of talent have said they are interested in working with him down the line. You'd expect one of those people to be Sheamus, who is very close with Rusev in real life. Over on the SmackDown After Mania, Fightful have reported that the Tables, Legs and Chairs main event got rave reviews behind the scenes, and thankfully everyone came out of it relatively healthy. But PW Insider are reporting there was one shocking moment to everyone watching backstage: Chelsea Green's US title defense earlier in the night. Apparently, a lot of people in WWE were legitimately surprised when Zelina Vega beat her for the title on the episode, ending Green's inaugural reign at 131 days. The title change was reportedly kept quiet, with most of the talent not knowing it would happen until the referee counted 3. But the latest new young prospect in NXT could shock people even more: The Undertaker. He's 60 years old. During a backstage interview with NXT champion Oba Femi, The Undertaker walked into shot last night and said that while NXT might be Oba's yard right now, he's going to have some of Taker's guys from WWE's reality competition show Legends and Future Greats coming for him soon. The camera then zoomed out to reveal LFG competitors Shiloh Hill, Anthony Luke, and Jasper Troy staring at Ober's NXT title. Demi said he's up for the challenge. Now, I might be getting fantasy booking carried away, but Team Taker could invade NXT from LFG, which means a War Games team is needed to save the promotion with Captain Shawn Michaels, meaning we get a kind of Michaels versus Taker rematch for the first time since HBK retired at WrestleMania 26, because they definitely haven't wrestled ever since then. That's one way for the veterans to help get over the next generation, but we all know there's a smarter way. Kind of burying them in a confusing work-shoot style, aka the Jeff Jarrett way. Double J isn't one to ignore a hot thing. He saw John Cena announcing a retirement year, he saw Horseshoe Tanahashi doing the same, so he hinted on AEW that he would also be winding up his career this year with an emotional last run, and we all said, yes, what a great storyline. And then he said, by winning the AEW World title. And we all went, no, actually, that's way too far, man. He had a brief feud with MJF during this time, with some poorly received promo segments between them, but the storyline wasn't really clicking, so AEW quietly dropped it. But Jarrett returned on last week's Collision, and he's now said in his podcast that he is frustrated by what went down, and has blamed it on Max, the wrestler, not HBO's streaming service. I'm super disappointed that I got myself in this position. I can't tell you how many times I've rethought agreeing on certain levels to certain things. Another point I've got to say is MJF. Ever since he got involved in anything that had to do with myself has turned to absolute shit. He always leaves everyone worse than when he started being associated on any level. I think he's toxic. I think he's selfish. I think he's got a boatload of talent, but I don't think he was good for my career on any level. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. The MJF situation was a massive, massive, massive mistake on so many levels. That goes without saying. We'll see. Did you hear about the murder in the multi-story car park?
No.
It was wrong on so many levels.
So bad, but it's also so good.
It's important to note this very much could be pure kayfabe, as it's difficult to know where reality ends and the work begins with Jarrett. It's unreal. Click the video on screen now to watch that Control Freaks episode of Dom and Sullivan trying to play UFC 5, but sharing the same controller.